the night.
Precious.
Precious Lord.
I know.
And lead, lead me on.
Thank you. Oh my God! She's got it. Thank you so much. What a soul she has at such a young age. It just fills my heart. It just makes me feel good to know that she knows God and she knows He's in her life. This is what this is about. Our young people, don't be ashamed of yourself, girl. Don't be ashamed of the God you serve. He is surrounding you. And that's important to know. My heart goes out to y'all. I'm serious. Trying to go to school, trying to get an education. But you got all these people who are pulling you around and talking about you and all those threats that you all come upon. We didn't have all of that. You know, what my brother, the knife was the most. When somebody had a knife, they were dangerous back in the day. Well, you're not an old man. I am. Back in the day, Candace, Bessie, y'all remember when a guy had a knife? That was dangerous. But now, so that's why my heart goes out to you all to put up, and the technology and all that goes with it. That's why you need to be strong. Know God for yourself, and hopefully you have parents or somebody around you. I mean this. This is a wonderful event, but I'm telling you, my heart and all of our hearts are here. Mary Swopes works with young people. She knows also she's going to speak as well. So our hearts and love are with you. At this time, I have a brother who's going to speak on some personal experiences he shared. He is, I don't know how many of us know Robert Ventura. He works with us a lot of times. I don't have his bio, but I was impressed with what Robert does. Dr. Robert Ventura, he's the founder from the Mario Foundation, and Kurt has been asked to come and speak on Robert's behalf to give you an understanding of the work that Robert does with young people. He's a Caucasian, Latino, and he came up through the ranks. And now he's a doctor, and he's selling programs, rather he gives programs to schools, I believe. So Kurt, take us to how you met him, where you were at the time, and where you are now. Kurt.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Reverend Joy, and thank you, Mama Fanny, Reverend Fanny. Dr. Robert Ventura was a dear friend of my father. My father, Elmer Cargill, had a chain of businesses throughout the city of Chicago. And I, as a young black boy, looked up to my father as really like my hero. And Robert would show up at some of the businesses. And I would be really at the age of 12 years old, had a craftsman's toolbox, shadowing my father, doing the repairs on washers and dryers, and trying to make my father proud of me and who I was. Robert kept showing up, and as I'm on the ground working, I look up and there's a Caucasian-looking man towering over me, saying, "What are you doing? Do you know what you're doing?" And can you imagine a 12-year-old, 13 years old, taking an entire machine apart, trying to repair the transmission, putting the motors and belts in at 12, 13 years old? People would stop and look and they were like, "Whoa, how are you doing this?" But Robert has been really involved with dealing with social impact around the country, and I'm really, really proud of him. But I have to tell you all how grateful I am to God for getting me together this morning and guiding me over here to the community that had a big impact in shaping my life. My mother and father divorced when I was like 3 years old. I was born in a community called Chatham. How many people are familiar with Chatham?
Yeah.
You know, in Chatham, I saw so many successful entrepreneurs doing business that looked like me in the community. But when my mom and father separated, my mom moved to 83rd and Phillips, just right around the corner from here. And my mom said, you know, son, that school that you went to in Chatham would really be the best school for you to continue to go. It was a grammar school called Ruggles, Martha Ruggles. And I recall having to walk all the way down Yates Boulevard from 83rd and Yates to the 79th Street in Yates and take the 79th Street bus all the way to 79th and Prairie, just west of King Drive, 5 days a week. And I'm gonna tell you, those blocks, walking down Yates, it seemed like it took me forever in the wintertime, in the heat of the summer times, to walk all of that way to catch that 79th Street bus there. But my mom said, you know, son, Chatham is the best community. It's a better community for you. I said, why, Mom? I don't understand. She said, well, there's certain things in the South Shore community that I think you could benefit from too. There's a YMCA that's just on the other side of Commercial, right off of the tracks. Why don't we go there and check this out? This is in the 70s when we moved there. So she said, look, son, there's a swimming pool over here, a youth center that's over here. We can go and check this out, and maybe you and your cousin Frankie, you all can go swimming. But little did I know, when my mom dropped us off over there, that they tried to drown me and my cousin Frank. This was in the 70s. And my cousin just drove in, and we looked around, there's the lifeguards there. And the next thing you know, Frank is fighting for his life because people were trying to pull him down underground. And I look around and I'm looking at the lifeguards and I say, can you help my cousin Frankie? And I dove in after to try to help him. And then next thing you know, I looked up and people were trying to jump in and try to jump on me and Frank. I didn't know why I was so hated. We were just new to the community. So finally, Frank and I, we got out of the pool. And we ran to the dressing room to try to gather all of our things out the lockers. And as we were trying to get dressed, people started reaching underneath between the stalls and grabbing all of our clothes. And I said, man, what are we up against? We grabbed as much stuff as we can and ran out of the center. And they chased us almost 6 or 7 blocks down 83rd Street, across the tracks, towards my parents' home. I didn't understand at that time what was wrong with me. I didn't see many positive images of reflection of myself as a black boy. There was my father, of course, he had businesses. There were some other individuals in the community, but for some reason, I think that I lacked a sense of self-esteem about who I was. I was a little guy, real short. Everybody seemed to me to be so much taller than me. And I struggled with trying to figure out and find my way. And I fell down. My mom said, son, you need to take karate, martial arts, maybe judo, because it would help you to defend yourself. And there were role models called Bruce Lee that I looked up to and I respected, because Bruce Lee, he had so much discipline, so much strength. But Bruce Lee was my hero. But then after the Bruce Lee era, there was an era that we referred to as blaxploitation.
Was that what Robert was in?
Blaxploitation is what I learned in the history of film, or images like Superfly in the map. And I looked at certain images and role models, and then for me, that role model between me and looking at my father and looking at my uncle became somewhat conflicted. Here's my father, who Dr. Robert Renteria worked very closely with in business. And I looked at him as a powerful role model because he had laundromats throughout the city of Chicago that he named after me.
They were called Kurt D. Laundromat. They were located on 83rd and Langley, 59th and Halsted, 67th and Normal, 95th and Loomis, 61st and Rose, 63rd and Woodlawn, all throughout the city of Chicago in the Woodlawn community, South Shore community, as well as the Chatham community. But I struggled to find my way to understand what role model do I seek to try to follow. There was my uncle, who was my mother's brother, who was really, really hip and cool. He was light-skinned, he had hair that was faded back like a butter. He had a triple black Cadillac Fleetwood. And he said, nephew, this is a black Fleetwood with the brains busted out. And it's triple black. And I said, Uncle Milton, what do you mean by the brains being busted out? He said, it's called a sunroof. The roof is open. And I said, man, my uncle is so cool. And I tried to follow after his footsteps and became a drug dealer. A drug dealer. And my father, he said, what are you doing, son? I sent you to college. You went to the technical college to learn how to repair machines and mechanical stuff. I named all the businesses after you. This is for you and your future, but you're going to mess everything all up. You don't know what you're doing. I said, Dad, as a young boy or young man, I said, Dad, I do know what I'm doing. He said, you do not know what you're doing. I sacrificed everything to put a legacy out for you. And you're going to mess things up like this. I said, Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, Solomon said that a youth, in the Bible, as a youth, to be able to come into the knowledge of God as a young age, it would really be a blessing. But for whatever reason, I chose to try trial and error as my way to try to figure things out. And I ended up being incarcerated through many prison industrial complexes throughout the United States of America. And I tried to figure out a way to redeem myself with God, with my father, who laid down a foundation. And you know what? I didn't even think that I would make it through after fighting a drug case. My father spent out every dime that he had, put up businesses and properties up for me. And I didn't realize that it was a thing that was called the sentencing guidelines. And for my involvement with selling drugs throughout the community, destroying the community, that I'd be looking at 20 years of incarceration throughout the federal industrial complex. I called my dad. I said, Dad, this is something that I did 5-6 years ago. He said, but you let me down. I needed you. I sent you to school. This was for you, and you let me down. I kept calling my dad after being sentenced to 11 calendars in prison. He said, get out of jail and don't call me and talk to me about nothing. Robert Renteria, Dr. Robert, did not give up on me. My mother didn't give up on me. Robert started writing me letters. He said, you have talents. You have gift. Stay focused. I'm going to send you some books. I'm going to write you letters. I'm going to be here for you. And after doing 10 calendars in prison, the first person I reached out to, my dad was in a nursing facility with dementia by that time, Alzheimer's. He didn't really recognize who I was. My mom had early stages of Alzheimer's. Right on 83rd and Phillips, she lived. And I started going to the nursing facilities 1, 2 in the morning, trying to talk to my dad and get him to recognize me. He would look at me, trying to see who I was. And then finally, Reverend, he looked at me and he came close to me, and saliva started coming from his lip, and he kissed me. And I knew right then and there that he knew who I was. And my ambition, right from there, is to prove to my father and to myself that I am not a loser. And prove to God that God doesn't create junk. But I fell down and I was misguided by different role models that I looked up to and admired in our community. And I have to say, if you don't take anything else from what I've shared with you, role models in our community are so very, very, very important. I say today that I am an entrepreneur following my father's footsteps. I have 9 laundry facilities throughout the city of Chicago. I own a shopping center right across the street from the South Shore Cultural Center, 71st and Yates. It's a small health shopping center with Walgreens Pharmacy. We have a laundromat there, a martial arts studio on the 2nd floor, restaurant. And I bought that facility for $1.7 million. I developed a city block in West Woodlawn that I bought for $55,000, following my father's footstep with discipline and putting God first, who is ordering my steps. I fell down, but God did not give up on me. Dr. Robert Renteria did not give up on me. There's individuals that came in my life and made a way for me, and I didn't understand how it would happen, but I prayed that it would. I lived in a Salvation Army building. 3 buses to get to a work or job. I thank God for everything. I am a businessman with 9 businesses, properties all over the city of Chicago, only through God's permission, only through God's mercy, only through my humility to understand that I am not arrogant, I am humble, I am submissive, and only through that, through studies and aligning myself with other individuals who are doing things positive in the communities, that I could have an impact. And if nothing else, I would love to be somewhat of an example to the youth who come into my facilities and they say, "Do you work here?" I said, no ma'am, no sir. I own this property, I own the block, I own the shopping center, I own the business. And you should too, because our communities have been decimated. They call them food deserts, but I call them food apartheids. What is apartheid? Apartheid is something that is intentionally done. A desert is something that is created natural by God. It is not by God's will that our communities would be deserts or apartheids, where disinvestment exists in our communities. It is not God's will that we don't have role models like me to build businesses, own our real estate, own our community, and be the image that our youth would be able to look at. It's not God's will to look towards other nationalities of Arabs. Not that Arabs don't have what they need. Not that Koreans and other nationalities don't have what they need to make an impact. But we need to see more people that look like me, look like you, in our communities, doing business within our neighborhoods. Thank you for listening. I thank God for Dr. Robert Renteria, for many people that made an impact in my life, because God was not through with me. And I thank you all for having me as your speaker today. Amen.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Kurt. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Amen. Thank you, Kurt. He represents, and he's here representing for Robert Renteria, who we know and have met many times. He writes beautiful programs, and he's doing so much with his talent that God has given him regarding giving the stories such as Kurt has done, how we can build up our youth, and he's just fantastic. Let's give Kurt another, and pronounce your last name correct for me.
Cargill is Cargill, C-A-R-G-L-E.
Cargill.
Which is a name that was given to my father. I searched the history on it. Where does Cargill originate from? But that's another conversation.
Thank you. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you. So, and I'm so happy that Robert Renteria, he asked you to come this way. I'm so happy for you. Please see me before you leave.
Amen.
Let's give him another hand. I can't get over that success story. What are you talking about? A young man who owned up to his illusions. He owned up to his habits that weren't so good and how he come up so far. Thank God. At this time, real quick, I'd like to introduce Vincent Gray. He's going to tell us a little bit about MAPA, which is a program that started over with, how many of us know Pastor Marsha Hatch over there on the west side? I think Mary, some of you know. Just quickly, tell us about that program that his son has started and you are aware of it. And I know they've done a lot in helping young men. Let's get to the gritty. Let's tell it like it is. How he brought men from the street and brought them to the church.
Real quick, just to touch on that, Marshall Hatch, I've done some work with them. They was instrumental. They saw a need within the community, and they made sure that they addressed the need. The research says, according to the CDC, the Central Disease Control, where you live determines how long you live. The research says over in Inglewood that the average lifespan of a person is 63 years old. Over on the west side, over in Austin Park, the average lifespan is 64. You go almost 4 miles away from Inglewood, you right in Bridgeport, and the life expectancy is 89 years old. So that's what the research says. So what happened is Maafa is a Swahili word which literally means great disaster. According to CDC, we saw issues that was taking place within our community. We saw that we was the lowest in unemployment. We was the lowest in education. We was the lowest as far as with a lot of economic disinvestment. So we said that the only way to solve our problem is that we're going to solve it. When it comes to young people, if young people are the problem, they're also the solution. Going back, I'm a firm believer, I've been saying for years that young people make up 30% of the population, but they're 100% of the future. And so we have work to do. I've been going over at Maafa. When I talk to them on my shirt, I say, shoot for your dreams, not your neighbor. And so the work that we're doing is making sure that we enhance the community, because we shouldn't have somebody outside the community. They robbing us of our community. They taking the economic dollar. The research says that in the white community, it takes 15 days for their dollar to leave the community. Asian community, it takes $30, 30 days before the dollar leave the community. It only takes 15 minutes before our dollar leave the community. And so that's the purpose for Maafa, teaching us how to become an economic power base. Because it's disturbing to me that we have the African Americans, we have $1 trillion of capital, but yet we have a fraction of a percent that is circulating in our community, and we don't even support each other. We can't buy what we want and beg for what we need. So thank you, and I just want to say that thank you.
Thank you so much, my dear. And this is his daughter, Christiana. You're going to recite. Okay. Thank you, Dad. Can you do it now? Because I know your mom said that you had to kind of leave out here. I apologize. We're just leaving God's hands today, okay? At this time, I'd like to introduce a young lady who is I met her parents at Rainbow Push Coalition because of the Excel Oratorical program. And her mom has chose, and she's been other places as well, but that's how I was introduced to her. Reverend Jeanette Wilson over there at Rainbow Push. Very, very instrumental in those young people, and I know you know her. So I asked your mom if you could give us something that was on your heart, on your mind, and I apologize for keeping you so much longer. She said your dad was going to get you out of here. So again, Christiana Gray. Is that okay? Okay. Here.
My name is Christiana Gray, and today I am hyena happy, peacock proud, elephants elated, and jackrabbit jovial to be here on tonight. All I have is just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, couldn't seek it, couldn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I'll suffer if I lose it, give accounts if I abuse it, just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Now that I have your attention, good morning. Today I will be reciting for you Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size, But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Now that you know why my head's not bowed, I don't have to shout or jump about or talk real loud. But when I start to say, it's the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the need for my care. I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me. Thank you.
Whoa, whoa. All right, let's give her a double hand. Thank you, Christina. Thank you so much for coming. How beautiful. How beautiful. Now, your mom said that you're going to another event, or you're going to be speaking some. Can you just give us a quick response? What are you up to? What's next?
Yes, I'm working with Anjanette Young. It was a few years ago where the police entered Anjanette Young's home while she didn't have any clothes on. So I'm working with Anjanette Young, and there's a event on October 11th. It's a youth conference, so I hope I can see you all there. There's more information. I can say more about that. Also, there's an event coming up with in a different state, I think in Washington, with a foundation. I don't know exactly where.
And you'll be speaking to orators?
Yes, I'm an orator. I go to Marian Catholic. I'm a freshman. I have a 4.1 GPA.
That's all? That's all you got?
I'm an author and I'm an entrepreneur of 4 businesses. My book is called You Know What to Do, You Just Don't Want to Do It.
Do you have a copy?
I do have a copy. And it's focused on success, 5 motivational steps to help you become a millionaire and receive what you need. So,
Dad, does she keep her room clean? That's what I want to know. Not about all this oratorical and what she, does she keep her room clean? Oh, I'm just so, I don't even know what to say. I'm just so happy and proud of you. Please, please, please invite us to some of your recitals, wherever they are, and we'll certainly support you. Thank you again. Thank you for coming. Dad, Mama said that you had to leave, so I excuse you if necessary. I'll work with you, because you don't have to go, because, you know, we'll talk, okay? I'm going to take care of you. At this point on our program, so happy to see Dr. Rita Pritchett in the house. Let's give her a hand. She, my girl. I'm going to ask her to come up, take her time, so that she can introduce. Oh, while I'm up here, we have Bathsheba Wyatt Draper, who's founder and CEO of a program of a women's group, POW, and she's in charge of the Power of Women. So I'd like for her to just tell us real quickly, or you want me to just say, can you? She's doing voter registration today, and this is very important. Bathsheba Draper.
Good morning. I want to thank Reverend Fanny for always being inclusive of others and for always looking out for where she can do God's work. I think that's so important. To the young people who have already spoken, congratulations. You've achieved some things that others don't even know that they have the capacity to do. But I also think there's some more that we need to do. We need to understand, as a great lady once said, we're not so much divided as we are disconnected. We need to understand that it's a plan for us to not get along. It's set up that way. For you to feel that I'm just an old lady who don't know nothing, and for me to think you're just a young person who think you know everything. Not understanding the power we have when we work together. You take my wisdom with your new technology, we can do something. We can change something. We can make a difference.
Absolutely.
And it's not easy though, because it's a new way of thinking. I've got to see beyond your physical and get to know your inner. And you need to be able to look and respect my years and know that this is favor. I'm where you want to get to. Trust me. We can't just look at one another and make assumptions and decide what we're not going to do. We miss out like that.
Right.
I was going to ask, because I thought this was a little different, I was going to ask the young people, what do you see when you look at a panel of women, of older women? What do you see? I taught a class once, and I told the class, I said, you see this car outside, that Jaguar outside? I said, that's a pretty car. He said, oh yeah, Mr. David, that's a pretty car. I said, that's a car I drove. Yeah, we know you got it like that. I said, oh, I don't know how to break your heart. That's my brother's car. I paid for the gas. You understand what I'm saying? I may look like I got it going on, but everyone in this room has a journey. It's a process. This young man talked about his process. Nothing we see and nothing we have came easy. We all had to do something. And when we learn how to work together, how to understand how we can accent, uplift, and motivate one another more positive, we can do more positive things. Now, Daddy will tell you, I'm a firm believer, it don't take a whole lot of people to get nothing done. Sure don't. Because some of the most greatest things that have happened in my lifetime started in a church basement or somebody's kitchen with a few people who were committed and determined they weren't going to let nobody turn them around. We have to instill that in our youth. And we also have to instill in our seniors to be more open. I am a firm believer. I don't know nothing. Some things I ain't trying to learn. I want you to learn all the technology you can. Because after turning the phone on and off, and turning on the computer and check my email, I'm through. And I don't want to do that, but I respect you. If you can do that, if you can come and help me figure it out, I'm with that. You my new friend. We have to learn how to just stop letting these negative, immediate images of us that are fed to us. The power of women is women. Women, period. There are more women in the world than there are men. And for that reason, that's why we're so suppressed in other countries, why they don't want women to learn. They don't allow them to learn. But for those of us who have access to education, we need to do better. So I thank Fanny for inviting me. I'm always encouraged. And the power of women, what we try to do is work on the things we agree on. And it's easy to sit up and argue and complain about what ain't working. So if you agree that I agree, then what can we do to make that happen? So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. On behalf of Power of Women, I want to thank you.
Did you get any voter registration?
Oh, voter registration. Now, there's some paperwork over there because the 16th is the last day you can be registered people to vote in different places. Okay. Your vote matters. It's just that simple. It's that individual power that each one of us have. In order to execute it, though, we have to go through the process. So I'm over here. If you don't have your IDs, that's okay. They stopped eliminating that. You know, before, if you didn't have your IDs, I couldn't register you. Now I can register you. Because they'll take your information, put it in the system, and then they can find out about yourself. We're going to be here to do voter registration today, and then the young lady that was here earlier told me that they're going to have an event on the 19th of October. No, that's too late. I have to tell her that. But anyway, encourage your friends to vote.
Especially you young people.
You know, because what happens is, this is what young people tell me. Why should I vote? It ain't doing nothing for me. Oh, okay, well, let me help you with this. You know, Big Mama and Pawpaw, they get a check every month. You don't vote, check is gone. You in trouble. You know, you have to realize it's not just in your face. It has a trickle-down effect. So we need to educate ourselves, and then we need to execute the right to vote. There's so many of our ancestors that each one of you talked about laid their life down for. Thank you.
Thank you, Bathsheba. Is there anyone in the room, any young people, this will be your first year voting? If anyone who's their first time, they turn to be eligible to vote? No one? Okay, well, she'll be here. She'll be here until we probably leave out a little after. I'm going to ask Reverend Dr. Rita Pritchett to come forward so she can introduce Cadet Lauren. Please, let's give her a hand. That's what this piece of paper said. Let's give Dr. Pritchett another hand. She's another outstanding Oh, a woman of God. And she helps us to understand. I'm just so happy to see her. Thank you, my dear.
Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, everybody must be asleep. Hello! I'll do it again. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We woke up in the instant. How about that? I would like to introduce my sister friend, Lauren. Lauren is a Chicago police cadet. I will let her tell you all about her achievements and what she does, but a little background. You know, the scripture teaches us to train up a child the way that it should go. And when it is old, meaning mature, it will not depart. Lauren's mother is like my sister. She's a Chicago police officer. I'm a retired Chicago police officer. In fact, I was not the first female. I was one of the first females assigned to the patrol division. Wasn't easy. The men didn't want us because back then, men were gentlemen. They thought they had to take care of a girl. But they found out that we did have significant skills. The little kid was abused. They recognized female as a mother, nurturing entity. Women who had been sexually abused were more comfortable telling another woman what happened to her. And so now that the police department has opened so widely that they've got women in command positions. And this young woman here, Lauren Gorey, last year, she received an Ambassador of Peace Award from Universal Peace Foundation. Let's give her a round of applause. I present to you my sister in blue, Lauren
Oh, let's
Gorey.
give her some hand. Let's give her some love. Love on this. A police woman in the building, two of them, come on.
How nice. That was a rounding applause.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Lauren Gloria. I'm glad to be here. So I'm 19. I'm alum with the LaSalle Institute. I go to Wilbur Wright College, where I'm the community service director of our National Society of Black Engineers group.
Say that.
So I'm a police cadet. So why did I become a police cadet? Well, basically, my mom was a Chicago police officer. And she worked in the community policing area. So she's always took me around to community events with her. And, you know, I just always been around for that. So I always got to see what she's been able to do, serve the community, the interactions, and I just thought it was beautiful, and I loved that and appreciated it. And she showed me being able to go with her. She exposed me to a lot of different people, lawyers, women in power, like all of that stuff. So it was good. So I became a police cadet because I wanted to serve my community. I seen how young children and women and men would look to her, you know, and appreciate her for what she did, and, you know, just the genuine love and, you know, building your community up. I thought it was beautiful, like with the uniform and without, you know. So basically what I've done, I took after her and I work in the community and policing office. So with this opportunity, I've been able to like do some events and engage with my community. I've done Outstanding Mothers of Inglewood, where we gave out plaques, and Mariano's helped sponsor us to, give flowers and, show, the Mothers of Inglewood appreciation for what they do. I think Inglewood is a great place, because it's showing how, despite, the Black community I don't want to say we don't get much love, but like how we get treated. It's on the rise up, and I can see that in Inglewood. I can see that in our communities, and I think it's amazing. And, I think the organizers, they deserve to be shown that love, that they're doing great. And, the work they're doing is not being, it's not being unseen. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little shy. That's why I also like this job, because it forces me to like get out of myself, get out of my head and stuff, and engage with people.
What is your day like? What is your day like? Are you still taking lessons, training? What?
Oh, yes. Okay, so while you're a Chicago Police Cadet, you do have to be in college in Chicago. So whatever like unit that you're around or whatever, not whatever, you can join that, or you can go to that district and work for them. So my day, I go to school, I come to work, and we have training and
What's your training look like?
our training, they teach us, about what a police officer is supposed to do, like how the right way to engage situations and problems. And I think that's what I like about the job as well. I get to like, understand what's going on and stuff and what you're supposed to do. Yes.
How long have you been a cadet?
Oh, I've been a cadet for a year now. I started on August 23rd, so it's been really rewarding. Does anybody have any questions?
Where do you go from here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just so nervous right now. But,
Take your time. That's all.
but
We want to hear. We want to know what.
so
You're gonna be a policewoman.
when you're able to start at 18, and then once you're 21, you can start your process into becoming a police officer. So basically, for the 2 years that you are a police cadet, it counts as seniority. So when you get on the job, you basically have like more seniority over, the people that you're in the academy with. And then once you get in, you're making, good money. And you have experience for when you get on. So, yes.
Where aspirations plan on being superintendent of police?
Oh, I mean, if God allows it, then yeah.
All right, good to go.
So how did I start all of this? In high school, I joined CPFTA, and you have to be like a rising sophomore. So I do recommend that if y'all have any kids that are like a freshman or going into their sophomore year, you sign up, because it gives you the best of both worlds. They show you about being a police officer and a firefighter. So you spend a couple months at the police academy on Jackson Boulevard, I believe, and they teach you about they prepare you for the power test, what it takes to become a police officer, the codes, and the day of the life of the police officer and everything that they do. And it gives you a lot of opportunities. And then on the fire side, they prepare you for their power test and and CPR. And also when you join, they allow you to get your EMT license. So that's also
What's that about?
your EMT license, where you could like become a paramedic and yes, emergency medical technician. So think that's a great opportunity, and y'all should consider telling your kids or anybody that's like a freshman to a
Absolutely.
rising sophomore. So
Sounds like a great opportunity. Thank you, Lord. You got a good trainer over there. That Dr. Rita Pritchard, she's a talker, so she gets the point over. So thank you for coming. Okay. Sharon, did you get Lauren and Dr. Pritchard together? Perhaps? Please. Thank you so much. What I am just amazed. You know, this is the young woman. I want Dr. Pritchard and Lauren to have a picture together if you didn't already. You think you did?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, you did? Okay, all right. I'm just amazed, and I'm so impressed with all these ladies and young people that have spoken today. And hopefully we can get this really out on the internet, just to hear your responses, just to hear what you've talked about. And Kurt, the man of the hour, I mean, look how you're surrounded, my man. You know, you've got these young women who are just really on top of things. And this is just such a wonderful occasion, I must admit.
Entrepreneur right here.
I'm telling you, girl, you better hook up with that man over there. Just wonderful. Just really nice. Oh my God. Thank you so much again. We're going to be having a meal pretty soon, but at this point in time, Sharon, do you know if we're still going to have a video of the march in Birmingham?
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay. So you want to, how many minutes, sweetheart? I'm sorry.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, we're going to take a breath for 5 minutes and watch this film. Again, if you want to register to vote, please go over to the table where Miss Bathsheba Draper is. We're going to listen to this and watch it as well. I guess somebody will say the year. They'll turn it up. Yeah.
But you gotta remember that all
I remember that morning I woke up with my mind on freedom. Oh, I took a special pain where to put in a little storage in my blouse, and a toothbrush, I got the toothpaste, the soap, because I had a feeling that I wouldn't be coming home.
ring, ring, goes the bell. This doctor pushed D-Day early in the morning. When they use D-Day, they use all that jive talk. Don't forget, kids, there's gonna be a party in the park. Don't forget your toothbrushes, the brushing will be served. Back in the classroom, open your book. Now everybody who's listening know what the deal is.
D-Day was the day. My mother said, okay, Gwen, don't go to that march. I mean, don't go. You go to school. I told my mother, I said, I hear you. We were raising off the line. So I didn't tell her a lie and say I wasn't going. I said, I hear you.
We would have people picked out. Your job is to turn this file on, turn that file on. Get the football team, basketball team, get the cheerleaders, get the band.
It was right at 11 o'clock when they arrived. They came up to the fence with a sign that just said, it's time.
Well, he said, let's go for the window. And I told others, come on, let's go. And I looked around and, all I see my own family almost, I looked back up at those kids, but you said they were gonna go. You promised. And that's when kids start coming.
They would come out of windows, come out of doors. It's so beautiful. You would believe it.
Mrs. Story turned her back as we got up.
And we took it from there.
I wanted to walk out with them, but it was my job.
There was nothing you could do once the students started moving. The principal, the teachers, and everybody had to step aside.
My boyfriend tried to stop me from going. I went around the day. I came right back at him when I just.
You have the two children left in the class, lady. Everybody